Close your eyes for a moment and let your breath slow down, like a gentle wave that moves back and forth, cradling your body in calm. Now bring your attention inward, to that quiet space where your heart beats in rhythm with life, even when everything seems chaotic. Perhaps in this moment there is a deep ache, a subtle feeling pressing your chest, whispering that no matter how much you want to change, something seems to hold that transformation back. You are not alone in this silent feeling of powerlessness in the face of your own life, where your conscious mind makes plans and dreams of a new path, yet an invisible force, like a program running on autopilot, insists on maintaining the old pattern. The invisible cycle you live has roots deeper than mere willpower. Bruce Lipton invites us to look inward, to the cells of our body, and realize they are not just passive receivers of our DNA, but sensitive antennas that pick up the internal environment, our beliefs, emotions, and intentions, shaping how we exist in the world. It is not fixed genetic code that determines everything, but the invisible field we create from what resonates within us. This understanding brings a subtle light, a quiet hope that there is an invisible starting point, a narrow crack where transformation can begin. And what if the reality you live in is not as rigid as it seems? Spiritual neuroscience, inspired by Joe Dispenza, reveals that the brain is both a generator and a receiver of an electromagnetic field that envelops and connects your entire body. This field is flexible, moldable, and capable of being shaped by the vibrational intentions we emit. Imagine then that your thoughts, emotions, and inner state are like instruments tuning the invisible music of your life. But there is a quiet anxiety accompanying this perception. The "I want to change, but I don't know how." The challenge of breaking free from the illusion of linear time, which insists that transformation is slow and distant. Here, I invite you to allow yourself a deep immersion. What if it took only 3 days to begin reprogramming these seemingly unshakable patterns? 3 days to align body, mind, and energetic field to initiate a real and perceptible transformation. Not as an empty promise, but as an invitation to recognize that within you exists a power that already knows the way, a power quietly waiting to awaken. This is the invisible starting point of quantum transformation, a sacred space where true change begins, not in the outer world, but in the deep silence of your being. There is a subtle block that often goes unnoticed, a silent conflict between the conscious desire that pulses strongly in your chest and the deep programming residing in your subconscious. This programming is like an old map that insists on guiding your steps, even when you know it no longer serves. That's why, even when you believe in change, transformation seems to always slip away, like a distant horizon that moves as you approach. This resistance is not a flaw within you. It is a vibrational noise echoing inside, caused by repressed emotional memories and beliefs accumulated over your life. Your cells respond to this internal environment, creating an energetic terrain where the old and the new confront each other. The brain, with its incredible plasticity, builds islands of resistance, territories where the old identity fights to maintain itself as if the unknown were a threat. Fear then emerges as a powerful neuro-emotional trigger, fear of the new, of the different, of what could destabilize the fragile security of the familiar, even if that security brings pain. In this invisible struggle, we often cling to what we already know, even if it causes suffering, because deep down, the familiar, no matter how broken, feels safe. It's like a boat anchored in turbulent waters. It may rock, but it doesn't sink, while the open sea of the unknown scares us with its vastness and uncertainty. Yet the story of transformation is also made of encounters with hidden truths. They're profound accounts from people who, by looking inward, recognized these programs and released them, like a gardener removing weeds so that the soil may finally flourish. One such account speaks of liberation from an inherited scarcity program, an ancestral burden which, once released, opened space for a new reality, a new vibration. This careful inward look reveals that change does not happen on the surface, but at the root. It is in this invisible terrain that true transformation finds fertile soil. When you begin to perceive this internal conflict, you begin to see the bridge from desire to fulfillment, a bridge built with attention, patience, and the courage to face what once seemed impossible. Intention alone often carries a silent expectation, the belief that wanting something strongly is enough to transform reality. But this belief runs into a deeper truth. Intention is just an energetic package, empty if it is not accompanied by emotional coherence and alignment of the whole body. Without this harmony, it becomes like a seed planted in dry soil, incapable of germinating. Spiritual neuroscience shows that the brain and the heart must speak in sync to activate the quantum field where manifestation occurs. When thoughts and emotions are in conflict, invisible interference arises, creating noise in the electromagnetic field that surrounds us. This interference blocks the vibrational resonance necessary for what we desire to manifest in the physical plane. The myth of instant manifestation, so widely spread, hides the real process, which demands transcending linear thinking and attachment to outcomes. It is an invitation to master the state of being more than the act of doing. Alignment is not achieved through external effort or sheer willpower, but through the quiet that emerges when heart and mind speak the same language. In this space between thought and emotion, mindfulness arises as a subtle bridge. It allows you to observe divergent internal states without judgment, welcoming them with kindness and awakening the capacity to harmonize them. It is in this process that vibrational coherence begins to form and the quantum field opens to receive the new reality. Thus, manifestation ceases to be an isolated act and becomes a delicate dance between mind, emotion, and body, a state of being where transformation happens from the inside out, silently, deeply, and truly. The technique I share is not a guarded secret, but a simple path that integrates active imagination, cellular reprogramming, and emotional release. It is a 3-day journey where each stage builds upon the previous, weaving a new reality through deep alignment of body, mind, and energy field. On the first day, the invitation is for an inward assessment, a calm and honest dive into yourself. It's not about finding flaws, but about observing what is truly happening in your emotional, mental, and physical field. Set aside a quiet space, free from distractions, where you can sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes and allow yourself to simply feel without trying to change anything. Notice the weight or lightness of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the natural state of your thoughts. This is the beginning of attentive listening. Recognizing vibrational blocks begins with noticing disconnection. Perhaps it's a constant tension in your shoulders that doesn't release even at rest. Perhaps it's inner restlessness, a feeling that something is always off, even when things seem fine externally. It may also show as difficulty concentrating, restless sleep, or a persistent emotional emptiness. These are precious clues. The body and mind speak, but often you don't hear because you are too busy trying to silence or ignore them. A simple exercise is to observe emotional reactions in daily life. Notice when your energy drops suddenly after a conversation, thought, or memory. Ask yourself, what exactly moved me just now? This act of gentle investigation brings clarity. For example, if a comment triggers disproportionate irritation,
There may be a block linked to insecurity or old memories still vibrating in your field.
Another important point is noticing repetitions. Are there situations, places, or people that always evoke the same discomfort? It could be tightness in the chest when speaking about money, or anxiety that arises whenever you must present yourself publicly. These patterns are internal echoes indicating where energy is stagnant. When you identify them, don't try to force change immediately. Just acknowledge they exist and that you can now see them. Finally, compassionate acceptance opens space for transformation. Recognizing a block does not mean blaming yourself. It means welcoming it as part of your story. Understanding that every tension, fear, or discomfort was, at some point, a protective mechanism. By creating a safe space within yourself for these aspects to express themselves, you allow energy to begin reorganizing. In this field of quiet acceptance, change begins to reveal itself, not as an imposition, but as a natural unfolding. On the second day, the focus is to tune into your desired frequency, the energy that represents the life you want to live. This is not just a mental exercise, but a full sensory experience. Choose a time when you can be relaxed and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your body to enter a receptive state. Imagine that with each exhale, you release tension, and with each inhale, you absorb the energy of what you wish to manifest. Specific meditations performed with clear intention help the brain register the imagined experience as real. Neuroscience shows that the mind does not fully distinguish between physical and vividly imagined experiences. When visualizing, involve all your senses. See the colors, feel the textures, hear the sounds, sense the scents, even the taste of the scene you create internally. The richer the sensory experience, the stronger the neural connections formed. Neuroplasticity in this context is like a new road being carved in your mind. Each repetition strengthens the path until it becomes the most natural route for your thoughts. For example, if the desired frequency is peace, imagine walking in a quiet field, feeling a gentle breeze, hearing distant birds. If it's prosperity, imagine an abundant environment, feeling security and gratitude in your body. Another powerful tool is associating this frequency with a physical anchor, a gesture like placing your hand on your chest or touching an object during visualization. Over time, the brain automatically links the gesture to the desired feeling, allowing you to access that vibrational state anytime. This method is used in therapy and high-performance training. By the end of this process, the desired frequency ceases to be a distant idea and becomes an internal place where you can reside every day. It's like painting a once blank canvas. Colors appear, forms gain life, and gradually the image becomes so real that your body and mind recognize it as part of who you are. Once this reality exists within, the outer world naturally reflects it. On the third day, the goal is to consolidate the new energetic state so it's not just a fleeting experience, but an embodied reality. This anchoring begins with the body, where energy stabilizes. Gentle physical practices such as conscious stretches, slow yoga movements, or meditative walks help ground the chosen frequency. Maintain mindful attention during each movement, noticing how your body responds and internally registering the new vibration.
Affirmations reinforce the mental and emotional state. Use statements with deep personal meaning. For example, if focusing on self-confidence, instead of "I am confident," you might say, "I trust my ability to create solutions and move forward." Speak with feeling, as if describing something already true. Daily repetition strengthens the neural connections tied to this new identity. Your environment should also reflect the change. Organize your surroundings to support and stimulate the new energy. Swap objects, clean spaces, or add elements conveying the desired feeling. This external harmony aligns with your inner state, reinforcing transformation. Act in accordance with the new frequency. Small, inspired actions, even simple ones, signal to your brain that the change is real. If the new energy is courage, perhaps accept an invitation you would usually decline. If it's gratitude, write and send a heartfelt message to someone. Each act provides tangible proof to your system that you are living the new reality. With body, mind, and environment aligned, brain and cells synchronize naturally. Your energetic state becomes effortless, your new way of being. This technique doesn't promise miracles, but offers a genuine invitation to care for your energy with kindness and purpose. It is a path where the power to transform is within reach, ready to awaken with every breath, thought, and emotion you choose to nurture. Dopamine, when fueled only by superficial, immediate rewards, sabotages transformation, creating dependence on fleeting stimuli. The 3-day journey, however, is not about instant gratification, but about initiating deep alignment, capable of generating sustainable change. These first days act as a conscious trigger, retraining mind and body for a new vibrational frequency. Unlike ephemeral results, this practice sparks an inner movement that continues expanding far beyond the short term, turning small early victories into a solid foundation for lasting manifestation. When trying to control time, the linear, predictable hours and days we feel, deep energetic resistance arises. This is the paradox of time and manifestation. What we desire often needs its own rhythm to bloom, while our impatience creates tension that locks energy, preventing smooth, steady flow. Yet immense power lies in silence and receptivity. Sometimes doing nothing, simply being, is the most potent action we can take. In this space of active waiting, energy reorganizes, the quantum field prepares to receive the new, and transformation becomes possible. This state of waiting is an invitation to cultivate vibrational patience, to slow your inner pace and open space for true change. Between desire and fulfillment, in the in-between of time, the invisible unfolds, where life reorganizes in its most authentic, profound form.
Imagine your reality as a vast inner garden, where each intention you plant is a delicate seed full of potential. These seeds need constant care, a frequency that nurtures them. You cannot simply drop them into soil and hope they grow. Vibrational patience is required, a gentle rhythm that respects natural germination. Impatience, often silent, acts like a shadow, drying seeds before they sprout. This urgent impulse, trying to accelerate the process, creates invisible pressure that stifles life at its earliest stage. The inner garden calls for attention and presence, not haste. Neuroscience illuminates this process, showing how brain plasticity and emotional memory work together to create fertile ground for transformation. Cultivating mind and emotions is like preparing soil, a practice demanding repetition, care, and conscious presence. This ancestral wisdom, reflected in patience and presence, activates the frequency of abundance. Real-life stories remind us that deep transformation is rarely quick, yet careful, step-by-step cultivation withstands the frenetic pace of the modern world and produces lasting results. Being a gardener of your own reality is an act of silent love, surrendering to the natural cycles where life blooms in its perfect time and with a beauty only patience can reveal. Bruce Lipton's epigenetics reveals a powerful truth. We are active agents of our energetic destiny, capable of reprogramming the cells that make up our body and consciousness. This living science shows that our inner environment, our thoughts and emotions, shapes the code governing our biology. Joe Dispenza synthesizes this transformation by explaining how the quantum field emerges from harmonious dialogue between mind and body, allowing tangible, lasting change in reality. It's a subtle dance where emotional, mental, and physical alignment unlocks the latent potential within us. Now, imagine yourself as the conductor of an inner orchestra, where each instrument, the mind, the emotion, the body, must be in perfect harmony. When this alignment occurs, the symphony of life becomes conscious creation, and what once seemed immutable transforms into a melody in constant evolution. And what if these 3 days you are beginning mark the start of that new melody, an opening to creating a life aligned, deep, and true? The invitation is here, and the power to transform resonates in every cell of your being.